abide by the traffic rules, to violate traffic rules in the state, and there's no rule for the ruling parties what the opposition leaders are saying. On the other hand, the Trinamool MP, he has said that it's a very sad incident. It's a very sad incident, and the government, his family, he himself
Mayuk.
with the deceased family. Back to Abhishek.
No, Mayuk, I have. If you're staying, I have a couple of more questions. A, if you are suggesting that the driver was possibly drunk, what time did the incident happen? B, what was the actual age of the child, 4 years or 6 years? And 3, has the police taken any action yet?
Well, to be specific, the incident happened around 4 p.m. It can be 4 to 4:10 p.m. 10 past 4 p.m. is that what we are getting in, and also whether the driver was drunk or not. That is, we are also investigating. The police is also investigating whether this driver was drunk or not, because of the fact that this driver, what I suggested earlier, the locals are saying that it's quite unnatural for a driver like Abu Tahir's driver to drive in that speed. Remember, the car was at a speed of around 70 to 80 or 60 to 80. That is what the locals or witnesses are saying. So we need to get the forensic evidence also. We need to get the road details also. Most importantly, the forensic team needs to get the details of what exactly happened. And CCTV footage is also going to be very important in this.
All right, Mayuk Ranjan Ghosh there, bringing us details of the tragedy panning out in Murshidabad in Bengal, where Murshidabad MP Abu Tahir of the Trinamool Congress is still not expressing regrets, though he has said that it's a sad incident that has happened, but trying to put the onus on the child. Mayuk, if you are still there, how come the MP is putting the onus on the child? Why? And is he trying to shield his driver? And has there any comment come from the Trinamool Congress or the party on this episode? All right, I think we dropped the line there with Mayuk. We'll try and connect again. But Mayuk was suggesting that the car was in fact over speeding, and instead of an average speed of 20-25 that should be maintained per kilometer, per speed that should be maintained there in that area of Nauda. The car was driving at about 60 to 70 kmph, which is kilometer per hour, and it's a Scorpio car, heavy car, it's a member of parliament's car, and the driver lost control. Apparently, the driver was drunk. Of course, it's not confirmed yet, and the police is looking into it. We don't know whether as yet a complaint has been filed. We'll try and connect again with Mayuk on that. And it's a VIP car with a VIP car pass, a member of parliament sticker there. It's a white Scorpio, and in the Nauda area, it marked down a child, 6 years old, and the family, of course, puts the blame entirely on the member of parliament. And eyewitnesses say that the overspeeding is the reason why the car rammed into and marked down the child, leading to his death. More details are awaited. No, as yet, no regrets or apologies issued by the member of parliament. And in fact, to the contrary, it seems that he's sort of trying to put the onus or shift the onus on the child and the family instead of his own driver. The number West Bengal 58 BM 2900. That's there on the screen, viewers. And to the extreme right is the member of parliament, Abu Tahir of Murshidabad, and in the middle, the pictures coming in from the hospital. All right, Priyanka Tibrewal of the BJP joins us over the phone. Priyanka, Abu Tahir has not yet expressed any remorse or regret at the manner in which his car, driven by his driver, mouthed down this 6-year-old child. You think police is going to act or not act in Bengal? All right, we seem to have dropped Priyanka Tibrewal as well there, BJP leader. we would have sought a political reaction. But if we can go back to Mayuk, we can get more details about the episode, about the incident, about the role of the police, whether the driver has been arrested, because Mayuk was suggesting two very serious possibilities. That is that the car was over speeding, and that Priyanka Tibrewal, in fact, is back with us. Priyanka, I was asking, TMC MP's car mows down a 6-year-old. The MP is not expressing remorse or regret, sort of trying to shield the driver and suggesting that the child invited it upon himself. You are familiar with the area. If you can tell us whether police action has happened, and if not, what to expect from the government there.
It is not about any party, but it is about justice. I will tell you, in Kolkata itself and in West Bengal, recently we have seen number of accident cases where such incidents of fatal death has taken place. In those incidents, immediately Section 304 has been put in the FIR, and 304 Part 2. When you see that these people are from good family background, then they put in 304. But my question remains that will the same section be applicable for this member of parliament of TMC? And if not, then you can very well understand that they will try to cover up the incident. Now, this is a matter of investigation as to who was driving the car. But whosoever was driving the car, Section 3042 should be applicable to him, because this is a fatal death incident.
All right, you are saying culpable homicide 304 should be added, irrespective of who was driving the car, but then you have to be confident that the government would be acting, given the fact that it's of Trinamool Congress and the MP belongs to the party.
But they would not do so, and I'm very much sure about this. That is why I'm saying that if this happens, then pick up the last 10 accidents which has taken place in West Bengal, take out the FIRs, and tell me if I'm incorrect. 304 Part 2 is applicable in those FIRs or not. It is only not applicable when it is someone to do with the government, but applicable for the rest of the people. So here is the question, that law is not same for everyone then.
All right, Priyanka Tibrewal there. Thank you so much for joining us. Please suggesting that a culpable homicide section should be added, irrespective of who was driving the car. We are as yet to hear from the TMC or the government there. And on this episode, given the fact that a party MP's car is involved, if we can connect again with Mayuk and get a little more information on the 6-year-old's tragic death after being mowed down by the car of a Trinamool MP, Abu Tahir, who is there in this on your screen, viewers, to the extreme left, walking with his hands behind his back, and also the inconsolable family of the child next to the window where you can see the MP. And then in the third window, you can see the child being taken to the hospital, 6-year-old child, and that's where he succumbed to his injuries. And to the extreme right is the car with the VIP sticker and a Member of Parliament sticker belonging to Murshidabad Trinamool MP Abu Tahir. And you can see, you can identify the car, the number. It seems the car has been seized because it's parked at a place, and WB 58 PM 2990, that's the number of the car. Police seems to have seized the car, and preliminary investigation is going on, as Mayuk had suggested. But whether the police is confident that they would be able to arrest the person who was driving the car, because we have not heard about it, and if we can connect with Mayuk again, we would know. This is a development that has happened at around 4 p.m. 4 p.m. is the time when this has happened, and we are still trying to understand whether the car swerved from the motorway and or the road and moved in a manner at high speed that it hit and then mowed down the child. Exact location of the child, what he was doing on the road or by the side of the road, all those important aspects that need to be looked into. But what is important is that the MP as yet has not expressed remorse or regrets. In fact, has sought to put the onus on the child or the family by suggesting that the child was out there on the road. And this has happened this afternoon. The child, identified as Hashem Sarkar, all right. In fact, joining us over the phone is Abu Tahir, the concerned member of parliament of the TMC. Mr. Tahir, if you are hearing me, have you expressed any regrets at the manner in which the car belonging to you has mowed down the child? It seems that your preliminary statements are trying to put the onus on the child himself. आपने क्या अभी तक कोई माफी मांगी है या आपने कोई स्टेटमेंट दिया है इस बच्चे की डेथ पे जो आपकी गाड़ी के नीचे आके हुआ है?
देखिए, माफी मांगने का कोई बात नहीं। उन लोग तो मेरा अपना आदमी है। ऐसा दुर्घटना अभी हो गया तो वो लोग तो संग था, उसका माँ तो दूर में था तो देख लिया। तो एक छोटा बच्चा वो छूट के मेरा गाड़ी के अंदर आ गया, ऐसा हो गया और क्या। और हम लोग है उसका साथ, उसका परिवार का साथ है, उसका सबको दुख और ऐसा साथ में हम लोग उसके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। उसका फैमिली मेरा 30 साल का इसका रिश्तेदार है और क्या। ठीक है।
আবু তাহের সাহেব আমি রিপাবলিক বাংলা থেকে ময়ূক বলছি। आपको थोड़ा भी रिग्रेट हो रहा है कि इतना फास्ट जो गाड़ी जा रहा था, आपका गाड़ी का स्पीड कितना था? लोग बोल रहे हैं कि 70 से 80 तक आपका स्पीड था।
দেখুন, এগুলো তো আপনাদের কথা, কেউ আপনাকে বলেছে? ওর পরিবার, ওর আত্মীয় স্বজন, কেউ আপনাকে বলেনি। আপনারা নিজে নিজের সব বানিয়ে বলছেন। আমি তো ছিলাম কোলে করে, আমি সব আপনাকে তুলে দিয়ে গেছিলাম।
ये बच्चे का परिवार, अबू ताहिर साहब, ये बच्चे का परिवार बोल रहा है कि सर आपको सुनना पड़ेगा, जनता बोल रही है आपको सुनना पड़ेगा सर। सर ये बच्चे का परिवार, इसका जो पिता है ये बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो गाड़ी है वो गाड़ी बहुत स्पीड में जा रहा था।
नहीं, एकदम ही नहीं भैया, ये सब गलत।
नौदा के उस इलाके में जो स्पीड लिमिट होना चाहिए वो लिमिट में ये गाड़ी था कि नहीं था सर, ये आपको बताना पड़ेगा। बंगला सिर्फ नहीं, आज पूरा हिंदुस्तान पूछता है।
नहीं, वो थोड़ा स्पीड लिमिट में था,
ये गाड़ी स्पीड में था, लोग बोल रहे हैं। जो आंखों देखी जो वहां पे लोग हैं वो बोल रहे हैं कि ये गाड़ी स्पीड में था सर।
ठीक है भैया, ठीक है भैया, ठीक है भैया।
तो ये हुआ कैसे, ये हादसा हुआ कैसे?
ठीक है भैया, ठीक है।
नहीं, ये हादसा हुआ कैसे? आप ये थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए। ये आप रिग्रेट करते हैं, आप सॉरी बोल रहे हैं, ये होना नहीं चाहिए था। आपका ड्राइवर उसके अगेंस्ट कोई कल्पेबल होमिसाइड या कोई भी धाराओं में कोई भी केसेस लॉस्ट हुआ है?
छूट के आ गया बच्चे।
तो इसके लिए भी तो आईपीसी, इसके लिए भी तो आपका गाड़ी का जो ड्राइवर है, आपका गाड़ी का जो ड्राइवर है उसको क्या पुलिस अब पूछताछ कर रहा है? आपका गाड़ी को लेके गया है?
हाँ,
आपका गाड़ी को लेके गया है?
सब कुछ हो जाएगा, कोई बात नहीं। हम तो बहरमपुर में है ना, अभी आते हैं तो बच्चे तो
नहीं, सब कुछ हो जाएगा।
हम बहरमपुर में है अभी।
हम लोग यहाँ से पूछ रहे हैं कि सब कुछ, मतलब अभी तक पुलिस ने कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन, अबू ताहिर, अभी तक पुलिस ने कुछ इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू किया है?
मेरा गाड़ी था वहाँ पर, पुलिस आया, सब कुछ उस पर चल रहा है। और उसका जो पेशेंट पार्टी का जो रिलेटिव है वो लोग संगे मेरा साथ था, उसका गाड़ी उसका लेके घर पर पहुंच गया। सब कुछ तो मेरा साथ ही था। इतना टाइम हम लोग भी लेके गया और 6 घंटा वही पर था, 5 घंटा।
आप अस्पताल में थे? आप अस्पताल में थे?
हाँ, लेके गया।
अच्छा, आधे घंटे आप अस्पताल में थे?
उसका घर पता 10 किलोमीटर दूर। हम ही लेके गया गाड़ी में, हम तूल के लेके गया, मेरा गाड़ी में लेके गया और इलाज किया, भर्ती किया।
आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में ही पड़ता है ये? बच्चे का परिवार का अब क्या होगा?
वो तो मेरा साथी है, मैं वो देख लेंगे।
बच्चे का परिवार का अब क्या होगा?
सब हो जाएगा।
नहीं, आप तो एमपी है, आपके साथ तो रहेंगे ही, आपके साथ तो रहेंगे, लेकिन आपका भी तो कोई हक बनता है, आपका भी तो कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता है। ये ट्रैफिक वायलेशन या फिर ये रैश ड्राइविंग का जो अभियोग कर रहे हैं ये लोग,
जो करता है हम कर लेंगे, जो चाहिए हम देख लेंगे। बच्चे को परिवार है और जो है सब कुछ देख लेंगे।
नहीं, वही अबू ताहिर क्या कर लेंगे वही पूछ रहे हैं।
ठीक है,
मतलब आप लोग आप बोल रहे हैं कि कोई मॉनेटरी हेल्प करेंगे
ना, हाँ,
फाइनेंशियल हेल्प करेंगे
जरूर।
अबू ताहिब साहब, पूरा हिंदुस्तान पूछ रहा है अभी आपको फाइनेंशियल हेल्प
नहीं,
करेंगे?
नहीं भैया,
ये परिवार एकदम 6 साल का बच्चा था,
ऐसा मौका,
उसका क्या दोष है?
ऐसा मौका
4 साल का बच्चा था,
ऐसा अरे भैया, ऐसा मौका उसको नहीं देना। हम लोग 35 साल यहाँ का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, एक लोग 35 साल 35 ईयर्स हो गए रिप्रेजेंटेटिव पब्लिक। मेरा तो जिम्मेदारी है ही, परिवार के साथ है, उसके साथ है, सवारी साथ है।
और इन्वेस्टिगेशन पार्ट में अभी तक पुलिस ने कुछ किया है क्या ड्राइवर के खिलाफ, या फिर आपने कुछ सुओ मोटू कुछ बोला है क्या? अबू ताहिर, इफ यू कैन हियर मी, अबू ताहिर आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे? All right, Abhishek, Abu Tahir, the MP was there with us, and as you can see, Abu Tahir is saying that he's not regretting. He's an MP for the last 35 years, and he's saying that he is no way responsible for this entire incident. He's saying that I have been in this area for the last 35 years and I know each one of them and I have some responsibility. I will be observing, I will be maintaining the decency, and I will be extending my hands, my charity to help that family. And he claimed that he was throughout the process of hospitalization to the body being discharged and given to the family members. Abhishek.
Mayu, quickly, exactly 10 seconds. What is the status of the driver? Has he been arrested?
Abhishek, he has not been arrested. That's what the MP is saying. The MP is saying that necessary actions will be taken against the driver or the car. His car was there in the medical college, and police came there to check the cars. But we need to investigate and see whether any action is being taken against the driver, any action against the killer car.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mayuk. We hope you will keep us up to date on the developments there on that front. And a tragic accident. A Trinamool MP's car has marked down a 6-year-old child. The driver is yet to be arrested. On that note, a short break, and we are back with news and developments on the other side.
Mystery over true motive of Shraddha's murder. Was it a fit of rage or an organized killing? How many others were involved? Ornob debates at 9 p.m.
A B2 app is very useful and very easy to use. I check my sugar in just less than 30 seconds. So this is the main device which you use with your smartphone application. You need to just insert this device into your smartphone, and now you need to insert the strip. And now you need to take your blood, and in less than 10 seconds you will get your results.
Get your diabetes care program with a free Beto glucometer. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years. With top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
An AAP MLA from Model Town in New Delhi, Akhilesh Tripathi, has been accused of demanding 90 lakh rupees for an MCD election from the wife of the complainant in a case that was taken up by Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau. An investigation later led to arrest of at least 3 people along with AAP MLA's brother-in-law. At least 10 pieces of bone have been found amid the investigation in Shraddha's murder, with the police further having found blood stains in the kitchen of the house. Prime Minister Modi addressed the Bengaluru Tech Summit, with the Prime Minister stating how technology had become a weapon to combat poverty in the country.
India is using technology as a weapon in the war against poverty. Under Swamitva scheme, we are using drones to map lands in rural areas. Then property cards are
I can't see. Modi met French President Emmanuel Macron on the sidelines of G20 summit at Bali in Indonesia. The Prime Minister further had bilateral meets scheduled with at least 7 other countries as part of the summit. Prime Minister Modi and US President Joe Biden, while visiting a mangrove forest as part of the G20 summit in Bali, saluted each other as the leaders gathered in the forest.
I was on insulin for a very long time. After joining Beto, within 5 months of time, I was off insulin. The medicines what I'm taking has become minimum and I'm very happy. Maybe in future, I'll be off medicines very soon.
Get your diabetes care program with a free Beto glucometer. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years. With top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The Russian Defense Ministry released a statement denying responsibility for the missiles that hit Poland, further calling such statements by the Polish media statements deliberate provocation aimed at escalating the situation. Ukrainian President Zelensky called the missile attack in Poland a significant escalation owing to Poland being a NATO country.
Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. I'm Niranjan, and on the biggest story tonight, the story that's gripped the country with the details and the nature of the crime. And in the course of our reporting today, we've been able to access some of the chats that were sent out by Shraddha, some messages that were sent out by her on the day she was murdered, the weeks before the murder to the day she was murdered. It almost appears like she was trying to reach out to her friends. She wanted to share something. What was that? What was going on in those last few days and those last few hours? We'll go through some of those chats and the details emerging. Here are the headlines on the biggest story tonight. The many twists and turns in the killer Aftab's tale. Many things, many versions, sequence of events not adding up. Friends claim that Shraddha was tortured and blackmailed. Gory details of how in 2021 they knew because she had complained about the degree of torture that was meted out by the killer of Aftab. In Lucknow, there is a massive love jihad controversy. The family of a victim is on the streets protesting with the body. We'll tell you all about that developing story in Lucknow. Uttarakhand has acted on forced conversion. It's now a cognizable offence. 10 years in jail if you forcefully convert in the state. And India takes the lead at Bali. We've now taken over the G20 presidency. The Prime Minister's message of the end or not, the era of war resonates. It's also a part of the resolution. TMC parliamentarian's car mows down a 4-year-old, drags the 4-year-old. The family is demanding justice. Story broken by Republic Bangla. We're getting all the details. But the Trinamool Congress parliamentarian says there is nothing to apologize for. Several friends of Shraddha Walkar, who was killed in Delhi by her live-in partner Aftab, have emerged. These friends also spoke to Republic TV. They've shared some of the screenshots of the chats they had with Shraddha. When Shraddha reached out to them, when they didn't get a response, and how they wrote to her in September. By then she was already killed. Let's look at some of those chats that tell you the story of what was going on. Now, in fact, let me show you one of those chats that we've accessed. In this chat, this is the chat of the day she was killed. Shraddha was killed on the 18th of May. On the 18th of May, she texted a friend. She texted her friend saying, I've got news. She said, I've got news. And I've got news to share with you. I got super busy with something. She wanted to share something on the day she was killed. On the day when she was killed, she was butchered by Aftab. And in fact, the friend even responded. The friend even responded saying, what's the news? That was the same evening. 2 hours later, at about 6:30 p.m. At 4:30 p.m. she reaches out saying she's got news. At 6:30 p.m. there's no response. What happened between 4:30 and 6:30, and what was the news that she wanted to share with her friend? And when that message of the friend who asked, what's the news, got no response, in September he once again wrote to her asking, where the hell are you? Which means she went completely silent after that, because obviously she was killed. Now, there are more and more chats emerging. In fact, one friend has even shared his conversation with Aftab. He wrote to Aftab in September asking where Shraddha was. Let's show you all of those chats one by one, which tell you the story of how Aftab went silent, Aftab simply moved on, and in some cases we are hearing, and this is the new chat. This is the new chat that we've accessed. Another chat breaking on the biggest story tonight is a chat on the 4th of May. On the 4th of May, when she tried to tell something to her friend, she said, Sunnah. That's the chat that we have. She said Sunnah on the 4th of May. This is on the 4th of May at about 9:48. The timing is 9:48 when she was in Uttarakhand or Himachal. She wanted to share something with her friends. So there are several chats. In one chat she says there is news. In the second chat she was trying to say something. She said Sunnah. But nothing else came of it after that. And these are some of the chats that we've accessed. Look at this chat. One of the friends who spoke to Republic TV shared this chat. On the 15th of September, when he didn't hear from Shraddha, he wrote to Aftab and he says, bro, and then he goes on to ask him where he's been, and then he goes on to ask Aftab details of Shraddha. He says, I need to speak to you. He says, tell Shraddha to call me. Now, all of these chats are recorded, and it's a matter of record. And just before the murder, this is 14 days before the murder, when they moved from Mumbai, went to Uttarakhand and Himachal on the 10 days or 14 days trip, we don't have the exact details, Shraddha had texted her friends saying that she wanted feedback on the reel that she had posted on Instagram. So she was trying to reach out to people, her friends, between the 4th and the 18th. For 14 days, she tried to reach out to them. She was trying to get some feedback. She wanted to tell something to them. She wanted to share something with them. She spoke about news that she had, but what the news was, nobody knows. And some of these batchmates also spoke to Republic TV, spoke to us about the chat, about what they knew, about the torture that was meted out. In fact, one such friend told Republic that Shraddha had shared details of the torture that she was put through by Aftab in the course of her conversation with a friend based in Mumbai. Here's a Here's an excerpt of that interview when the friend spoke to Republic TV earlier today. How long did this violence continue? Was he always violent? Do you know about that? Because, you know, we are hearing that from 2021, etc., is when the first complaints came in of him being violent, being abusive. Was it much before that?
Yes, that was the first time. Yes, we were told by a mutual friend of ours that Aftab would burn cigarette butts on her body. That was the first time we realized that Shraddha is in grave danger. That is exactly the timeline I'm pointing out on, that when we told him and her that y'all should end it, and we told Aftab that we will definitely go to the cops if you continue this behavior and you leave our friend alone. But Aftab being Aftab would eventually go on to pacify Shraddha, and I don't know why, but even she managed to stay with him. Maybe she was scared for her family because she loved them. However, she was with them because सारे घर में कुछ ना कुछ अनबन तो होता ही है, पर फिर भी she loved the family and she didn't want anything to happen. So maybe that's why she decided to, go along with him.
That's correct. And be with me, my friend, because we are hearing that the father also knew about this, right? The father also knew about this. Did the parents, did the father intervene at any point? Do you know about that? Because you're telling me that y'all confronted Aftab at some point and told him not to cross the line, right? But did the parents know, and did the parents do something? Rather, did the father do something?
That I do not know of, sir, because I didn't speak to her parents at any given point in time, so I wouldn't know about it.
Okay. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about Shraddha? I mean, it appears that in her last few days or months, she may have been lonely, like you're saying, messaging very little, saying very little to her friends and her inner circle. Obviously, something was completely amiss and wrong in this period, right?
Yes, we did notice her being very distant, and we did realize that Shraddha is not being quite herself. But we thought that maybe since she's gone to Himachal or something like that, that she's rather enjoying her life rather than texting all of her friends, because we never really made anything of it, because it was common, because Shraddha loved trekking. She would go even in Maharashtra to Kalsubai and all those places to trek, and it was a common occurrence that she would not reply instantly, but rather in 20-30 minutes or after a day. So we never made anything of it, and then we too got busy in our lives at the time, because we had just passed out and we were searching for jobs, so we never really paid attention. Which was our mistake.
And we also tracked down the office where Aftab was employed in the national capital after he moved there. Since May, he was working at a tech firm. We reported from the tech firm. Madhurima was there. We're not giving out too many details as it's a matter of investigation. But this is a report that our team of reporters in the national capital and in Mumbai have put together. Here's where he worked in Delhi.
We are reporting from Gurgaon, where accused Aftab Amin Poonawala used to work. Right behind me is the company where he used to work. He used to work on the 19th floor of this particular company in Gurgaon. My video journalist Vivek is bringing you the visuals. This is where Aftab Amin Poonawala used to leave for every night, which is why nobody even ever doubted that where is he going, where is he stepping out, because he used to work in this particular company here in Gurgaon, and this case is getting murkier day by day. He used to work here very, without any hesitation, even after chopping off the body of Shraddha. These are the exclusive visuals that we are getting you for our viewers. This is the company first on Republic, first visuals on Republic of the company where Aftab Amin Poonawala used to work.
पुलिस की टीम इन्हीं जंगलों में अभी भी मौजूद है। पुलिस ने बैरिकेड कर दिया है पूरे जंगलों के, जितने रास्ते टूटे हुए हैं, जितने वॉल्स टूटे हुए हैं, वहां पे पुलिस के द्वारा बैरिकेड कर दिया गया है। अब से कुछ ही देर के बाद बताया जा रहा है कि वो आफ्ताब को लेकर के पहुंचेगी। सबसे ज़्यादा एक्सक्लूसिव यानी कि सबसे बड़ी सबूत हमारे पास यहाँ पे मौजूद है। हम दिखाना चाहते हैं कि ये वही आड़ी पत्ती हो सकता है जिससे आफ्ताब ने श्रद्धा को पीस पीस काटा था। आप देख सकते हैं रिपब्लिक भारत इसकी पुष्टि नहीं करता, लेकिन ये आड़ी पत्ती वही हो सकती है जिससे बताया जा रहा है कि श्रद्धा को काटा गया था। मैं अपने विजय उज्जवल को बोलूंगा जूम करके दिखाए। यहाँ पे देखिए ग्रिप, यहाँ पे उस आड़ी पत्ती में ग्रिप भी लगाने के लिए यहाँ पे इंतजाम किया गया है। एक फोम लगाया गया है जिससे कि हाथ में चोट ना लगे। और ये वही आड़ी पत्ती है जिससे हम लोहे को काटते हैं, यानी कि जब किसी की हड्डी या बोन्स को काटना, किसी ठोस पदार्थ को काटना हो तो इसी तरह के आड़ी पत्ती का इंतजाम करते हैं। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो जिस तरीके से आफ्ताब ये बता रहा था कि उसके द्वारा आड़ी पत्ती लिया गया और चाकू लिया गया, तो और उसके सबूत उसके हाथ में भी उसके कट के निशान है, क्योंकि आड़ी पत्ती में दोनों साइड कटर होता है, तो उसके कारण हाथ में भी अच्छे से अगर उसमें ग्रिप ना लगाया जाए तो हाथ में भी उससे चोट लग सकता है। तो आप देख सकते हैं आफ्ताब ने जब उसके हाथ में चोट लगे तो वो डॉक्टर के पास भी गया था और बताया जा रहा है कि यही वो आड़ी पत्ती हो सकती है। लेकिन रिपब्लिक भारत इस बात की पुष्टि नहीं करता, लेकिन यही महरौली के ये वही जंगल है जहां पे आफ्ताब ने श्रद्धा को काट करके अलग अलग हिस्सों में फेंका था। यह आड़ी पत्ती देख सकते हैं काफी पुराना लग रहा है, इसमें जंग लगा हुआ है और उसमें ग्रिप भी एक बनाया गया है, तो समझ सकते हैं कि ये वही आड़ी पत्ती हो सकता है।
At this point in time, as we are reporting from Aftab residence, and recently this is the fresh raid which has been conducted by the police officials. We have seen the SHO of Mehrauli police station. Along with the SHO, this is the police officials of around 8 to 10 police officials whom we have seen just entering this particular residence. As we do understand, this is the important day today, as the police tomorrow is going to produce Aftab in the court, whereas the permission also has been already given for the narco test. And this is the part of investigation. Delhi police officials are still inside. This was around 10 to police officials who just get inside, and this is going to be more development, because since from the morning we do understand this is like at the Mehrauli police station where Aftab been interrogated, being asked, been investigated by the Delhi police official, and the senior most of the Delhi police official is also keeping a very tight eye on the same. This was none other but the SHO himself. This was none other but the ACP himself, who was again and again coming in and going out from that particular police station, that's Mehrauli police station. We will understand is forensic team is also with them, because this was stated about the DNA also. We have to keep this in mind, that the matching of the DNA is also has to happen, and that's something what we are expecting at this point in time, that this can be the next part of the investigation, that next step in the investigation when DNA will be matched. So that's something what we are seeing at this point in time, that the police officials have just reached a few minutes back. This was the team of the Delhi police officials who have just entered the residence where the couple was residing, where this brutal murder happened.
And the police investigating the case in Maharashtra, the Vasai police believes that Aftab has been misleading the investigators constantly by changing his versions. In fact, one of the details that has emerged today is that on the 18th, the day of the murder, he transferred about 50,000 rupees or more. Take a listen.
18 मई को 50,000 विड्रॉ हुआ है, उसके बाद में 5,000 6,000 ऐसा 2-3 बार विड्रॉ हुआ है उसका अकाउंट से।
एटीएम कार्ड, क्रेडिट कार्ड का भी इस्तेमाल हुआ है?
नहीं, वो बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स उसके हिसाब से खाली विड्रॉल का अपने पास इन्फॉर्मेशन है। वो ये श्रद्धा और वो आफ्ताब दोनों को मोबाइल हमने एनालिसिस किया था, मोबाइल का तांत्रिक विश्लेषण किया था, बैंक डिटेल्स लिया था, जो नाडर है उसका स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड किया था, आफ्ताब को बुलाया था उसका स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड किया था। ये जो सारी चीज़ सामने हमारे आए और जब हमें लगा कि विसंगति उसमें है, पैसा विड्रॉ हुआ है, जो मोबाइल 2.5-3 महीने से मोबाइल बंद है, वो हिसाब से हमें किधर ना किधर हमें डाउट लग रहा था।
And those were some of the reactions coming in, and we also spoke to one of the lawyers earlier today, the lawyers of Anupama Gulati case, the advocates involved in that case, and there are many similarities. One of the aspects that has emerged in the course of the investigation is the similarities between the Shraddha murder and the Anupama Gulati murder. And the police believe that Aftab the killer had Googled, searched, read up, researched on how Anupama Gulati was killed, how her body parts were disposed. And even in that case, it was a case of premeditated murder. the advocates and their conversation. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll play an excerpt of that because there's an eerie similarity. In the words of the advocate in the Anupama Gulati case, it's a templated case of what happened back then. Many similarities. We'll take a break, come back with the full details of that case as well. Stay tuned.
Mystery over true motive of Shraddha's murder. Was it a fit of rage or an organized killing? How many others were involved? Ornab debates at 9 p.m.
Complicated a little bit is what's happened to so many other things. I believe originally started by this energy disaster. We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now it's hitting $5, $6, $7, and even $8, and it's going to go really bad. The socialist disaster known as the Green New Deal, which is destroying our country, and the many crippling regulations that it has spawned, will be immediately terminated so that our country can again breathe and grow and thrive like it should.
Hitting out the current US President Joe Biden has announced his candidacy in a Donald Trump hit out at the current US administration's economy policies, further stating that Joe Biden had destroyed the economy of the United States. An AAP MLA from Model Town in New Delhi, Akhilesh Tripathi, has been accused of demanding 90 lakh rupees for an MCD election from the wife of the complainant in a case that was taken up by Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau. An investigation later led to arrest of at least 3 people along with AAP MLA's brother-in-law. At least 10 pieces of bone have been found amid the investigation in Shraddha's murder, with the police further having found blood stains in the kitchen of the house. Prime Minister Modi addressed the Bengaluru Tech Summit, with the Prime Minister stating how technology had become a weapon to combat poverty in the country.
India is using technology as a weapon in the war against poverty.
Massive debate as the victim's family alleges love jihad.
फांसी चाहिए। आज मेरी लड़की के साथ में किया, कल किसी और की लड़की के साथ में कर सकते हैं। यही हम लोगों सरकार से इल्तिजा है।
Ornab debates at 10 p.m.
So many defining images from the G20. One of the images that came in this morning of US President Joe Biden saluting Prime Minister Modi, telling you the story of how the world views India. And on the other hand, a picture of complete chaos. This is a video of the heated exchange of words between Justin Trudeau and Xi Jinping. A heated exchange on the... Prime Minister Modi met French President Emmanuel Macron on the sidelines of the G20 summit at Bali, Indonesia. The Prime Minister had bilateral meetings scheduled with the leaders of at least 7 countries as part of the G20 summit. Prime Minister Modi and US President Joe Biden, while visiting a mangrove forest as part of the G20 summit in Bali, saluted each other as the leaders gathered in the forest. US President Joe Biden called for an emergency meeting of G7 and NATO nations over the missiles that landed in Poland and led to 2 casualties, with the US President stating that it was unlikely the missiles had originated from Russia. Russian Defense Ministry released a statement denying responsibility for the missiles that hit Poland, further calling such statements by the Polish media and officials a deliberate provocation aimed at escalating the situation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the missile attacks in Poland a significant escalation owing to Poland being a NATO country. The Ukrainian president further announced Ukraine's support for Poland, stating that Ukraine was aware that the violence would not be limited to the country's borders, as was the case with Moldova. Former US President Donald Trump has announced his plan to run for presidency in America in 2024, with the campaign being his third for the position.
The American dream. And it's a word you don't use. 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words. American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, "Welcome to the state of Florida." I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Hitting out at the current US President Joe Biden as he announced his candidacy. Donald Trump hit out at the current US administration's economic policies, further stating that Joe Biden had destroyed the economy of America.
Complicated a little bit is what's happened to so many other things. I believe originally started by this energy disaster. We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now it's hitting $5, $6, $7, and even $8, and it's going to go really bad. The socialist disaster known as the Green New Deal, which is destroying our country, and the many crippling regulations that it has spawned, will be immediately terminated so that our country can again breathe and grow and thrive like it should.
An Aam Aadmi Party MLA from Model Town in Delhi, Akhilesh Tripathi, has been accused of demanding 90 lakh rupees for an MCD election for the wife of the complainant in a case that was taken up by Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau. An investigation has led to arrest of at least 3 people along with the Aam Aadmi Party MLA's brother-in-law.
किस प्रकार से टिकटों की बिक्री के लिए 90 लाख रुपए एक हलवाई से उनकी बीवी को टिकट देने के लिए मांगे। और भी इसमें परतें खुलेंगी, और भी बहुत विधायक हैं, लेकिन आप अंदाजा लगाओ कि जो टिकट बांटते वक्त 90 लाख रुपए लेंगे तो वो क्या उम्मीद करेंगे कि वो जनप्रतिनिधि जनता की सेवा करेगा।
And a story being reported from Lucknow by a team of reporters on a case where the family claims it was a case of love jihad. They protested on the streets of Lucknow asking for justice. Was it a case of love jihad? The facts of the case coming up.
A Beto app is very useful and very easy to use. I check my sugar in just less than 30 seconds. So this is the main device which you use with your smartphone application. You need to just insert this device into your smartphone, and now you need to insert the strip. And now you need to take your blood, and in less than 10 seconds you will get your results.
Get your diabetes care program with a free Beto glucometer. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
Prime Minister Modi addressed the Bengaluru Tech Summit, with the Prime Minister stating how technology had become a weapon to combat poverty in the country.
India is using technology as a weapon in the war against poverty. Under Swamitva scheme, we are using drones to map land in rural areas. Then property cards are given to the people. This reduces land disputes.
Mystery over true motive of Shraddha's murder. Was it a fit of rage or an organized killing? how many others were involved. Ornab debates at 9 p.m. Massive debate as the victim's family alleges love jihad.
फांसी चाहिए। आज मेरी लड़की के साथ में किया, कल किसी और की लड़की के साथ में कर सकते हैं। यही हम लोगों सरकार से इल्तिजा है।
Ornab debates at 10 p.m.
Hello and welcome viewers. Let's dive right into the top stories this hour on Superfast 50. I'm Ankit Prasad. India has officially taken up the presidency of the Group of 20 Nations, with the presidency accepted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the G20 summit in Bali in Indonesia.
भारत अपनी G20 अध्यक्षता के दौरान इंडोनेशिया के सराहनीय इनिशिएटिव को आगे बढ़ाने का भरसक प्रयत्न करेगा। भारत के लिए यह अत्यंत शुभ संयोग है कि हम G20 की अध्यक्षता का दायित्व इस पवित्र द्वीप बाली में ग्रहण कर रहे हैं।
During his address while accepting the presidency, PM Modi stated how India's efforts wish to be geared towards making the G20 a global world driver.
आज मैं ये आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता इंक्लूसिव, एम्बिशियस, डिसिसिव और एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होगी। एक्सेलेंसी, अगले एक साल में हमारा प्रयत्न रहेगा कि G20 नए विचारों की परिकल्पना के लिए और सामूहिक एक्शन को गति देने के लिए एक ग्लोबल प्राइम मूवर की तरह काम करे।
The Prime Minister further spoke about the relevance of the group amid the various social, economic and political challenges being faced by countries around the world in recent years.
भारत G20 का जिम्मा ऐसे समय ले रहा है जब विश्व जियोपॉलिटिकल तनावों, आर्थिक मंदी, खाद्यान्न और ऊर्जा की बढ़ी हुई कीमतों और महामारी के दीर्घकालीन दुष्प्रभावों से एक साथ जूझ रहा है। ऐसे समय विश्व G20 की तरफ आशा की नजर से देखता है।
The Prime Minister also spoke about the sustainable goals that shall be the theme for the G20, with policies such as the recently launched LIFE to promote sustainable and environmentally aware development being among them.
प्लेनेट के सुरक्षित भविष्य के लिए ट्रस्टीशिप का भाव ही समाधान है। इसमें लाइफ यानी लाइफस्टाइल फॉर एनवायरनमेंट अभियान एक बड़ा योगदान दे सकता है। इसका उद्देश्य सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल को एक जन आंदोलन बनाना है। एक्सेलेंसी, आज आवश्यकता है कि विकास के लाभ सर्वस्पर्शी और सर्वसमावेशी हो।
The Prime Minister further emphasized on the need for women-led development to be a priority in the agenda for the G20 as India takes the reins of the intergovernmental organization at the closing session of the Bali summit.
वैश्विक विकास महिलाओं की भागीदारी के बिना संभव नहीं है। हमें अपने G20 एजेंडा में वुमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट पर प्राथमिकता बनाए रखनी होगी।
Prime Minister Modi met French President Emmanuel Macron on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia once more, and the pair continued to show deepening bonhomie. The Prime Minister further held numerous bilateral meets with leaders of at least 7 countries as part of the summit. PM Modi and US President Joe Biden, while visiting a mangrove forest as part of the G20 summit in Bali, saluted each other as the leaders gathered in the forest for sapling plantations. The Ministry of External Affairs, while speaking about India's interactions at the G20 summit, stated that India played a key role in successful regulations, negotiation outcomes, and also stated that the PM's message on not an era for war resonated very deeply across all delegations and helped bridge gaps.
This is no time for war. और इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को रिजॉल्व करने के लिए डायलॉग एंड डिप्लोमेसी ही सबसे उचित माध्यम है। उस मैसेज का G20 समिट के आउटकम डॉक्यूमेंट के नेगोशिएशंस में एक कंसेंसस बिल्ड करने में एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही।
Foreign Secretary Vinay Kwatra further informed that PM Modi met China's President Xi Jinping and exchanged curtsies with him at the G20 dinner that we witnessed yesterday. Prime Minister Modi also virtually addressed the Bengaluru Tech Summit, with the Prime Minister stating how technology had become a weapon to combat poverty in the country.
India is using technology as a weapon in the war against poverty. Under Swamitva scheme, we are using drones to map lands in rural areas. Then property cards are given to the people. This reduces land disputes.
A 4-year-old child died after being hit by Trinamool MP Abu Tahir Khan's car in Murshidabad district in West Bengal. According to sources, the TMC MP was inside the car when the child was run over, and the child suffered severe head injuries that eventually proved fatal. Sources in the Delhi police stated that Aftab has not shown remorse about Shraddha's murder, further raising speculations that the crime may have been planned. Sources also stated that investigations are underway over who visited the scene of the crime, along with particular kinds of literature found at the crime scene. At least 10 pieces of bone have been recovered amid the investigation in Shraddha's murder, with the police also having found blood stains in the kitchen of the house. The Delhi police has taken DNA samples of Shraddha's father Vikas Walkar so that the dumped body parts and blood samples can be matched. The Delhi police is expected to question a common friend of Shraddha and Aftab in connection with the case, and is also expected to hold an important meeting in connection with the investigation. The Delhi police is planning to conduct a psycho-assessment test on Aftab Poonawalla, even as more details and gory details continue to emerge on Shraddha's murder and dismemberment. Uttar Pradesh's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Suresh Khanna said that the winter session of the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly will begin from December the 5th. He added that during this, proceedings will be held in both houses and the session will last for 3 days. The CBI court at Rouse Avenue in New Delhi has deferred for tomorrow the pronouncement of the order on the bail petition of Delhi Minister Satyendra Jain in the money laundering case. According to Special CBI Judge Vikas Dhuli, the order copy was not ready for the accused and he will pass the order by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau has arrested the brother-in-law of an Aam Aadmi Party MLA, Akhilesh Tripathi, from Delhi's model town, along with his associates, in connection with a bribe demanded for a ticket for the MCD elections given to the complainant's wife. The complainant, in connection with the bribe for the MCD poll, stated that Akhilesh Tripathi himself allegedly demanded a bribe of 90 lakh rupees for the ticket. At least 35 lakh rupees are reported to have been paid to Akhilesh Tripathi and at least 20 lakh rupees to another Aam Aadmi Party MLA from Wazirpur at the insistence of the model town Aam Aadmi Party MLA. The Border Roads Organization, the BRO, is expected to complete the work on the strategic road to Lippu Lake near the China border for Kailash Mansarovar Yatra by 2024. According to the Indian Army's Engineer-in-Chief, Lieutenant General Harpal Singh, the road will allow pilgrims to use vehicles right up to the last point of India. At least 4 terror associates linked to the TRF have been arrested by the Srinagar police. The associates are said to have been involved in grenade attacks in Srinagar and are suspected to have provided support to terrorists of the TRF in the valley. Days after the blast on the railway bridge near Udaipur, at least 186 kilos of gelatin sticks have been recovered in the water under the river at the Bharabana bridge in Dungapur in Rajasthan. The police are investigating the matter as a connection to the Udaipur blast is yet to surface. A bomb hoax at the old city area of Hyderabad led to panic among the residents, with the bomb threat reported at the Mandir Masjid at the IS Sadan in the city. The threat was declared as a hoax, however, following police searches. Aam Aadmi Party candidate from Surat east of Gujarat, Kanchan Jariwala, took back his nomination for the Gujarat polls, while the AAP alleged that he had been kidnapped. He has, however, refuted this claim. In a gory crime in Kalburgi, Karnataka, BJP leader Mallikarjun Muthalia was killed and his body mutilated. A major protest broke out following the death, with demands for action in the case. Large crowds at the Dandrua Dham in Madhya Pradesh are believed to have been one of the factors that led to the death of a woman and several being injured at a temple there. The administrative inefficiency is further being alleged as the Dham, where a religious function is currently being held. The CBI court has extended the judicial custody of former Maharashtra Minister Anil Deshmukh for 14 days in connection with the corruption case against him. Gujarat Chief Minister and BJP leader Bhupender Patel filed his nomination for the upcoming Gujarat Assembly elections, with Union Home Minister Amit Shah present at the nomination filing. Shah had earlier said that Bhupender Patel would continue to be CM if the BJP wins in Gujarat. The Indian Navy participated in the Malabar Exercise 2022 in the seas off Japan. According to sources, 11 surface ships, including a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, 4 long-range maritime patrol aircraft, integral helicopters and 2 submarines participated in the high-tempo war games off the coast of Japan. The Russian Defense Ministry released a statement denying responsibility for the missiles that hit Poland, further calling such statements by the Polish media officials a deliberate provocation aimed at escalating the situation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called the missile attacks in Poland a significant escalation owing to Poland being a NATO nation. The Ukrainian president further announced Ukraine's support for Poland, saying that Ukraine was aware that the violence would not be limited to the country's borders, as was the case with Moldova. Members of the G20 leading economies ended their summit in Indonesia with a declaration of firm condemnation of the war in Ukraine and a warning that the conflict making an already delicate world economy situation even worse. Indonesian President Joko Widodo said that that portion of the declaration dealt with war was the most contentious.
First, I regret the incident in Poland. I call all parties to remain calm and refrain from escalating tension.
EU climate chief Frans Timmermans expressed full solidarity with Poland and said that they were still establishing the facts about the missile that fell in the NATO member nation, killing 2 people. Frans Timmermans further said that the bloc stands beside Poland, which is also an EU member.
First,
well, you know, the most important message we have to give now is that we are in full solidarity with Poland and the Polish people. They are an important part of NATO and of the European Union, and we stand as one in this. And I hope we can get clarity of what actually happened very soon.
French President Emmanuel Macron, during a news conference in Bali where he was attending the G20 summit, urged caution on speculating about the circumstances of the missile blast in Poland, saying it was too early to know precisely what happened. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan also said that he would respect a statement by Russia which denied being behind any strikes on targets near the Ukrainian-Poland border. He added during a news conference on the sidelines of the G20 summit that Russia has said that it has nothing to do with this. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz stressed the importance of waiting for the results of the investigation after Poland said that a Russian-made missile fell in the country's east, killing 2 people. He made these remarks after US President Joe Biden called an emergency meeting of the G7 and NATO leaders. An oil tanker associated with an Israeli billionaire has been struck by a bomb-carrying drone off the coast of Oman amid heightened tensions with Iran. According to officials, the attack on the Liberian-flagged oil tanker Pacific Zircon happened on Tuesday night off the coast of Oman. Former US President Donald Trump has announced his plans to run for president once again in the 2024 US elections, with the campaign being his third for the position.
The American dream. And it's a word you don't use. 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words. American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Hitting out at the current US President Joe Biden as he announced his candidacy, Donald Trump said that the US administration's economic policies had ruined the economy of the United States of America.
Complicated a little bit is what's happened to so many other things. I believe originally started by this energy disaster. We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now it's hitting $5, $6, $7, and even $8, and it's going to go really bad. The socialist disaster known as the Green New Deal, which is destroying our country, and the many crippling regulations that it has spawned, will be immediately terminated so that our country can again breathe and grow and thrive like it should.
In boxing, the reigning Asian youth champion Vishwanath Suresh opened India's campaign on a winning note at the IBA Youth Men's and Women's World Boxing Championships 2022 after clinching a thrilling opening round win against Ireland's Patsy Joyce Thady by a split 3-2 decision. In football, England's World Cup squad landed in Qatar with less than a week to go until the Three Lions opening match of the tournament against Iran. Manager Gareth Southgate and his players flew into Doha on a plane called the Rainbow, the name celebrating LGBTQ+ rights in a country where homosexuality is against the law. Brazil's World Cup squad trained in Turin 9 days ahead of their opening fixture in Group G, as Brazil's team is to face Serbia, followed by Switzerland and Cameroon, and are favourites to win the cup, though not by much ahead of Argentina and France. The Danish squad also arrived in Qatar ahead of the World Cup. Kasper Hujemland's men were hugely impressive in qualifying for the tournament, winning their first 9 games on the way to topping Group F. France are likely to provide their stiffest challenge in the group. Tunisia and Australia are also in the quartet. Following a training session at their base in Madrid on Tuesday, the Spanish national football team left the country ahead of the World Cup. La Furia Roja will travel to Qatar via Jordan, where they will play a warm-up match before kicking off their campaign against Costa Rica, before a mouth-watering meeting with Germany and a final match against Japan. Senegal forward and 2-time African Player of the Year Sadio Mane will miss his team's first games at the World Cup because of an injury to the head of his fibula bone in his lower right leg. The team's first match in Qatar is against the Netherlands. Germany's World Cup squad trained on Tuesday in Muscat, where Hansi Flick's side will take on Oman in a warm-up match on Wednesday before heading to Qatar. Die Mannschaft will be aiming for World Cup redemption after crashing out in 2018 as defending champions in the group stage. Hansi Flick's side will begin their campaign with a game against Japan before facing Spain and then Costa Rica. Leading American players had a fun kickabout with a few of the migrant workers at the Al Gharafa training ground in Doha as Qatar continues to face heavy criticism from human rights watchers for the death of many migrant workers during the construction of all the stadiums there for the World Cup. CJ McCollum scored 14 of his 30 points in the third quarter, and the New Orleans Pelicans overcame La Morant's 36 points to beat the Memphis Grizzlies 113-102 in the NBA. And Casper Ruud qualified for the semi-finals of the ATP Finals in Turin with a victory over Taylor Fritz. Ruud's win over Fritz sealed Rafael Nadal's exit from the competition.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
The Russian Defense Ministry released a statement denying responsibility for the missiles that hit Poland, further calling such statements by the Polish media statements deliberate provocation aimed at escalating the situation. Ukrainian President Zelensky called the missile attack in Poland a significant escalation owing to Poland being a NATO country. The Ukrainian president further announced Ukraine's support for Poland, stating that Ukraine was aware that the violence would not be limited to the country's borders, as was the case of Moldova. Former US President Donald Trump has announced his plans to run for president in the 2024 presidential elections, with the campaign being his third for the position. Hitting out at the current US President Joe Biden as he announced his candidacy, Donald Trump hit out at the current US administration's economic policies, further stating that Joe Biden has destroyed the economy of the United States.
Complicated a little bit is what's happened to so many other things. I believe originally started by this energy disaster. We were $1.87 a gallon for gasoline, and now it's hitting $5, $6, $7, and even $8, and it's going to go really bad. The socialist disaster known as the Green New Deal, which is destroying our country, and the many crippling regulations that it has spawned, will be immediately terminated so that our country can again breathe and grow and thrive like it should.
Viewers, NASA has got a big monkey off its back. The Artemis 1 mission has finally blasted off after having to be scrubbed 2 times. This is humanity's first approach to the moon for over 50 years and will hopefully lead to a manned mission. Take a look at this.
And here we go. 10. Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated.
NASA's new moon rocket blasted off on its debut flight with 3 test dummies abroad. US is closer for putting astronauts back on the lunar surface for the first time since the end of the Apollo program 50 years ago.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
After years of delays and billions in cost overruns, the Space Launch System rocket thundered skyward. As on Kennedy Space Center, the rocket weighed on 8.8 million pounds of thrust and hit 160 km/h within seconds. The Orion capsule perched on top burst out of Earth's orbit towards the moon 2 hours into the flight. If all goes well, the rocket will propel an empty crew capsule into a wide orbit around the moon. The capsule will return to Earth with a splashdown in the Pacific in December. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Kennedy Space Center traveling over 2,800 miles per hour.
I was on insulin for a very long time. After joining Beto, within 5 months of time, I was off insulin. The medicines what I'm taking has become minimum and I'm very happy. Maybe in future, I'll be off medicines very soon.
Get your diabetes care program with a free Beto glucometer. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
An AAP MLA from Model Town in New Delhi, Akhilesh Tripathi, has been accused of demanding 90 lakh rupees for an MCD election from the wife of the complainant in a case that was taken up by Delhi's Anti-Corruption Bureau. An investigation later led to arrest of at least 3 people along with AAP MLA's brother-in-law. At least 10 pieces of bone have been found amid the investigation in Shraddha's murder, with the police further having found bloodstains in the kitchen of the house. Prime Minister Modi addressed the Bengaluru Tech Summit, with the Prime Minister stating how technology had become a weapon to combat poverty in the country.
India is using technology as a weapon in the war against poverty. Under Swamitva scheme, we are using drones to map lands in rural areas. Then property cards are given to the people. This reduces land disputes.
Mystery over true motive of Shraddha's murder. Was it a fit of rage or an organized killing? How many others were involved? Ornab debates at 9 p.m. Massive debate as the victim's family alleges love jihad.
फांसी चाहिए। आज मेरी लड़की के साथ में किया, कल किसी और की लड़की के साथ में कर सकते हैं। यही हम लोगों सरकार से इल्तिजा है।
Ornab debates at 10 p.m.
Burning Question, powered by Tata Motors.
Well, hello and welcome. I am Aishwarya Kapoor and you are watching The Burning Question. And on The Burning Question, a question to all of you viewers. What is happening to the society in India? What's happening? Shraddha in Delhi, Nidhi in Lucknow, and another girl being murdered by her companion, and then the man makes a video while the girl is still in her own pool of blood. What's happening? That's the debate on The Burning Question, but first, the headlines. Mystery over transactions and twists at every stage of investigation. Suspicions raised over multiple killers. Shraddha's friends reveal extent of torture. He says, After